Right, so if you're going to use this in a program, the first question you're going to ask yourself is, how much product am I going to be able to make, and kind of what yields am I going to get? How many do I need?
Yep.
In general, for any piece of equipment at a bar, I like to, and this is actually one of the reasons that I wanted to make a centrifuge for a bar at all, is that no one can afford to have a spare commercial big centrifuge, right?
Or the space.
Or the space. And I always recommend having at least one spare. If you're relying on something for your program, you need to have a spare because everything breaks. Everything. So, you know, when was the last time you had a kitchen that just had one VitaPrep? You need to have the one in case it breaks. So I think, you know, that's kind of the minimum, but then depending on how many different products you have that use clarification, then you might need to get additional ones. So, you know, we ran a 112-seat bar. We were open 7 days a week, and we ran 4 or 5 of them, and a lot of our products would get clarified. So we were doing products called Justinos, where you mix fruit and liquor, and then you spin them out, and it's really the only way to get that kind of massive fruit hit very quickly into a product. And you get almost all of your liquor back. So most of the time when you're doing infusions, you lose a lot of product and it gets thrown away. But the centrifuge basically puts all the solids out, and you get almost all of the liquid back.
So when you think about, and I think you mentioned it before, for when you had a bar, you have 4 of them and it's going constantly, and it's going like 80% of your stuff went through it. Do you recommend, if people have like maybe you know, they want multiple ones, is there like a magic number you say, like, okay, if your bar is this big, you should have, you know, you said minimum 2, but like when would be appropriate for them to add on that 3rd or 4th unit?
I mean, a lot depends also on how many different products that you are running. So, you know, one of the nice things, a big centrifuge, the issue is all the rotors have to be balanced against each other. So it's hard to run different products at the same time. Here, if you have 4 different products that need to be clarified, let's say, if you have several that you're running at the same time, they can all be running at the same time. And unlike a big centrifuge, you can just take this, put it into a cabinet, put it somewhere else, take it home if you run out of space at the I mean, I've done that, at the bar, you know what I mean? And then they can be run at different stations. They can go anywhere.
That's
so
true,
I would say, I mean, you want to have a spare, and I would say if your bar is like 50 seats and you only have like 3 or 4 products on the menu, you know, you could get away with 2, 3 be better. I think once you're at that like 50, 60, 70, 80, 100, like you really want to be in the 4 or 5 range. Like we had 4 we were running, and then we always had a spare. And you know, at Booker and Dax, we're committed to keeping your units running. We're having a difficult time keeping the old ones, just because we've literally used every part that the factory ever made. So, you know, if you have a spare, we're gonna do everything we can to get it running again. We don't want you to be down.
Of course. So if you're considering, you know, a couple of units or more for your bar program, check the links in the description below for the pre-sale. So for this limited time, after you buy the first one at full price, there will be a discount for additional units. So definitely take advantage of that during this pre-sale.